So guys, as I said earlier, we'll be learning more of front end, and if you want to know what the heck is front end, right, this my YouTube channel. I only have 14 subscribers which is cool. Okay, so no problem with that, but I want to explain some roadmap in front end development. Okay, so roadmap.sh, right? So guys, follow this link. Okay, roadmap.sh. okay, so go to the home page. So I have it here, a step-by-step guide to become a modern front-end developer. This actually where you get to do, your do's and don'ts. Okay, do's and don'ts. So let me explain a quick. I want to do a quick summary here, right, about this. It's very cool here and front end. Let me close this. All right. So fine. Okay. So guys. Okay, so everything is full screen now. So front end. Okay, so when you're beginning, as most times people start web development, they don't do anything. Okay, I recommend you visit this page. Okay, you visit roadmap.sh.com so that maybe you can read through and maybe do some little research that you want to know about front end. Okay, so this I'm particularly talking about front end, but they have more and more of this kind of roadmap for you to learn and become good at what you can be self-taught, or you can also visit a school, okay, attend a seminar or boot camp to help you to become a front-end developer. Okay, so the first thing first, you have to know the basics of internet. Okay, so you have to know what DNS and how it works. Okay, you have to know what DNS, how it works, what is domain name, and what is hosting, right? So when you talk about DNS deal with service registrar. Okay, so domain registrar, or DNS, domain name server. Okay, your name server. That's how we point our domains to a server. Okay, and the domain name is you probably know, let's say facebook.com. That's a domain name. And let's say what is hosting. So this is where you upload your website that you have built onto a server somewhere else. So hosting allows people to visit your content through your domain. Okay, so without hosting, I don't know where you're going to keep your website. Okay, so hosting is more like a warehouse for keeping your website. So fine. Here we have how does the internet work. Okay, we have what is HTTP, we have browsers and how they work. So this is something that you have to learn about internet. Okay, so these are the let's say the some of the foundation that you need to help you understand your front end. Okay, so when you come here, we have the HTML and the CSS and JavaScript. So first thing first, you learn your HTML is very important. You learn the basics. You learn how to write semantics. Okay, so you know how to do form and validation, conversion and best practices, and also we have SEO basics and accessibility. They are not recommended though, but if you are learning, okay, maybe as you're learning, you may see it, but not now. Not be useful now. Okay, maybe later on as you grow in the front end, you get to realize you need this kind of things to boost your front end. So with that, you come to CSS. So CSS, style shit, that's cool. Okay, used to design and make your website look nice, very nice, cool, and easy to accept, and people will love visiting your website. So JavaScript, like making Ajax request. Okay, like something like hitting an API, or something like click event. Maybe I click something should happen. This kind of things works with JavaScript. JavaScript helps you to do calculations like 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4, and those things on your website. Okay, so after that we have your version control system, right? So here as you be building your website, okay, you need to control how you need to version them. Okay, you have version 1, yeah, we have version 2 of your website. So you use something like Git. Okay, you can use Git to do version of your project. Okay, and we have a place where we store it. That's this one. Okay, so we have the repo hosting service. Okay, so you create an account and learn how to use GitHub. So GitHub is very easy to use, and it's very I think I recommend this to you if you want to start hosting your website files. Okay, your project online. Okay, so it keeps track of every changes that you make to your website, and something like versioning. And then we have version 1 of your website, version 2, and also maybe we have something like committing. Okay, so we commit your changes and you push. So these are the terms that we use in Git. Okay, this is something like Git commands, so let's come to the web security. Web security, for now, I don't think you need them, but as you are going, you understand what is CORS, HTTPS, WASP, security risks, and content security policy. You have to know them. It will come to you. Okay, so don't worry about this. It will come to you. But what you have to also know is your package managers. Okay, so let's say you want to use other frameworks, okay, to your project. Maybe you have seen this calendar is very nice, you want to add it to your project. You need something, a package. Okay, a package manager to manage all these things for you. The package manager tracks the version of which or the library you want to use. Okay, so we have the npm and the yarn. Okay, but I think if you are busy, I think you can go with yarn. Okay, yarn is fine. And npm too is the full name of npm is node package manager. Yarn too is the same thing, just like npm. Okay, it acts the same way. So we have something like css architecture. We have the css processes. Okay, when you talk about css processes, it means like you're processing your css. It means you're not writing just the normal css that you write. Now you're going to do some little bit of calculation in css. This one not in javascript, but what, css. So that's it. So we have Sass. Okay, you use Sass to process your css. It makes you write Sass. Sorry, it makes you write css very neat and elegant, and you understand how nesting of css works, and you see the power in Sass. So don't worry much. We have the css architecture. Okay, so you see css, it comes with naming of classes and IDs. So we have some architecture that we use. Okay, especially when you're doing theming and also design works, you need this kind of architecture to handle, let's say, something like utility classes and those things to polish behaviors of web pages. Maybe if someone or a user hovers over the button, the color should change. Okay, so we have some utility classes that say hover, change color. So these are part of the Sass tricks. But when it comes to the BEM, it's something like a discipline or architecture that you can use it and you follow it and you understand it and you familiarize yourself with it, and you get to know how to also name your classes very well and unique. So when you further and you advance, okay, let's say you have learned CSS all the way, internet, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all the way to the build tool. Okay, so now build tool, okay, in modern front end development is is very unique, and there is a lot of libraries. We have a lot of frameworks. Okay, we have a lot of things. Those times that we don't have those things, it was very difficult to even import packages and those things, compiling them, making sure and optimizing files was very difficult. So there comes this build tool to help you build your projects and optimize it as much as possible. So we have the npm scripts. Okay, it falls under the tax runners. So this is the tax runner, and we have the linters. Okay, the linters are more like a formatter. Okay, they, whilst you're coding, let's say you're coding on VS Code, and you need to format it and make your coding look very well structured. Okay, so you need a linter, okay, or a formatter to format everything. Maybe the spaces it should leave maybe 4 space column, and it will do it for you. Some you can configure it. I recommend you use Prettier, because Prettier is wow. So we have the npm script, and it helps you to, let's say, run tasks. Okay, let's say you can do npm dev, yarn dev, those kind of things. Those are npm scripts to help you like run tasks. Let's say you're coding, okay, and you want to also refresh your pages anytime you want. You change you change files in your website, or let's say your VS Code. Okay, so anytime you click on the save, your browser should reload. So you need a script, okay, tax runner to do that for you, so that anytime you save changes, your browser is going to reload. We have the webpack, okay, bundles everything. Okay, maybe your website, okay, you have images, you have JavaScript, all are in separate files. Okay, this webpack can bundle all into one for you, and you just use a single line to import it into your CSS, and you're done. So we have more of it. Okay, let's go to picking a framework. So after you've gone through all this hassle, you need a framework to quicken up your development process. Okay, starting from scratch is very difficult, and you don't know what the recommendation of the project is. Okay, you may end up repeating yourself, but framework has made it in a way that it's very easy to write your JavaScript more efficiently, your SAS and your CSS very good, neat. Okay, so you can pick a framework anytime you feel like now you understand JavaScript. Okay, so I think if you want to pick a framework, okay, we have CSS frameworks. Okay, we have JavaScript frameworks. So you can pick a framework, maybe JavaScript. You can use React, Angular, Vue.js, Svelte.js, and all other things. And there are many frameworks that you can use. Okay. So when it comes to the modern CSS, okay, modern, you have style component and what CSS model. That's what I recommend. Style component is very recommended, right? Let's come to the web component. Okay, web component is actually the framework takes care of this kind of things for you, your web component and all those things. So when you're using React, you understand what is component, and maybe you can dive deeper to the web component. So picking up a CSS framework, okay, is very easy. Just Google, hey, CSS frameworks that you need. You end up seeing Bootstrap, which is very popular because it makes it easy for you to understand everything. Okay, it makes it easy. And now we have the Bootstrap 5, which comes with a default JavaScript component. So something like a navigation, your nav bar, your responsive designs, and those things. It makes you, it limits the time you use it to write CSS. Okay. Unlike first, you'll be writing your own grade, and this time you are using class to just class your devs, and you get everything right. All right. So we have more of it. We have React Strap. Okay, this is something like it combination of Bootstrap and React. Okay, we have Material UI. It's from the material design. We have Materialize CSS. So if you see, look at this. Okay, I think all these things, Chakra UI, you have Tailwind CSS. So this Tailwind CSS is more like Chakra UI, but Chakra UI is let's say a JavaScript based CSS something. Okay, component which you use. Okay, so the React Strap is like a form of Bootstrap. okay, but it's in the framework of JavaScript, and the framework is what? React.js. So when you learn React.js, you can learn your Bootstrap. After learning Bootstrap, now you want to combine React and Bootstrap, and you get what? React Strap. So you use React Strap you can use React Strap to build everything that you need, every website that you want to do. Okay, so that's it. So when it comes to testing of your application, I recommend you use Jest. Okay, Jest, something like you start with unit testing, integration, and functional, but don't worry yourself about testing purposes, okay, because if maybe you want to rush yourself, don't rush yourself. Okay, relax. Okay, learn your frameworks, make sure you understand JavaScript well, the building tools especially. Then before that, you move into what? Your Jest. Okay, so whilst you're learning your React.js, you can come on and integrate React testing libraries into your project to make sure that it handles all the errors. It makes you know every error that your function produces. Okay, so that you keep track of your components or your JavaScript files. Okay, you make sure that everything is working before your project is being launched. So that is that. So you have type checkers. Okay, when you come here, okay, I'm talking about type checkers. Now when you talk about type, okay, type came from Java. Okay, in Java we have this kind of data types. So data types is something like a blueprint, but not a blueprint, but something like a description. Okay, you are describing your variables. Okay, like example, you want your variable to only receive array. You want your variable only contains, this variable contains arrays, this variable contains strings. So that's type. So you use TypeScript for your JavaScript. Okay, so you this time you are not writing just normal JavaScript like let this var this, no, but this time you do something like class based, or you can do something like functional based types checking, all those things, and to check everything that you do on everything in your JavaScript file. Make sure it prompts you of error. Maybe this variable is likely to be undefined, and those things. So type checkers together with type length and those formatters helps you to write your JavaScript efficiently. So what did I said? So we have progressive web apps. Okay, so when you go to progressive web app, it's actually a new architecture. I think you should dive into it and see how nowadays web pages have evolved from just an app, just a website, near website, to almost like an app. Okay, so this progressive web apps is something like an architecture that you read about and learn how to use web to access devices APIs. Okay, so when we talk about server-side rendering, okay, there are a lot of server-side rendering happens when you doing PHP. Okay, so there came a time that we so let's say using React, right? Using React, and React, if you are using React, it's a single page application. It means it's only one page, only one HTML file that loads, and that's it. And whatever that happens via is all from what? JavaScript. Everything is JavaScript. So now we talk about server-side rendering. So this time, if you see React, if you compare React to PHP, you see that in React you don't see most of your text, like what you write, let's say the heading of it, let's say eat that frog. You don't see those things. You only see JavaScript, a long strings of line, and that's it. You only see like 5 lines, and that's it, and your program is working neatly. But in the case that you want Google search to index your pages, you need a server-side renderer or a server-side framework to help you to do that. So it depends on the framework that you choose. Maybe if you choose React, you can go with Nest.js, and I believe me, it's very fast. For other frameworks that you use like Angular, Angular comes with Universal as its framework. Angular is a whole framework on its own. So when it comes to the Vue.js, it's a library. Okay, so we have the Nast, sorry, which helps you to do server-side rendering. So let's go to static. No, sorry. Let's go to GraphQL. So GraphQL is sort of architecture. Okay, so it's comes in line with let's say what we call API, application programming interface, how we get data from servers. Okay, so how the program works, the business logic work from a decoupled architecture of your program. Okay, so GraphQL is an architecture. Okay, GraphQL has override. Let's say people are falling in love with GraphQL. At first, we are using something like SOAP and those kind of things, and then came a REST API. Okay, so as time evolved, we came about GraphQL, and GraphQL is very, very elegant. Actually, it helps you to fetch whatever content that you need. It doesn't let you fetch unnecessary things that you don't need. So if you need content from, let's say you need a API, from this API I want a post. Okay, in the post I want the comments in the post. But unlike REST API, okay, so if you're using REST API, what you end up doing is you fetch the post and you also call another API to fetch the comment, which is very bad. So if you use GraphQL, everything goes at once and comes at once, and that's all. So when it comes to static site generators, static site generators, when I talk about static, it means that now this site is something like let's say I'm generating only static files. When we talk about static site, when we talk about static when we talk about static site generators, okay, static, put in mind that when you are developing your website, you need what? HTML files. Okay, you need your images. Okay, you need your CSS. Okay, these things are all static assets, right? Now when we come to web app, okay, we have web app, we have website. Okay, we have types of website, which is almost like a web app. It means people can do interactions with it. Okay, so it requires what users interaction. And we have website, something like static. It's there. That's a website which is there just to display information, static content. Nothing changes. You can't click. If you click anything, nothing happens. So this kind of static site. So when we come out, so in modern JS or JavaScript, okay, we have the static site generators. Now, what this does it, static is mainly from your browser, right? So there is nothing like server rendering. There is no server. You don't need a server, okay, to render your HTML for you. It's just static. Whatever the user visits is only HTML and CSS. Okay, nothing processes. Everything has been processed already. So when you upload your file to, let's say, where it can be, okay, let's say Netlify, you only send all your static assets there, and that's all. That's cool. You don't need Node, npm or anything. Just build it, generate it, and you get your static assets to be hosted online. Okay, and with front end, okay, you can be able to use it to build mobile apps if you are in love with mobile app. Okay, so we have React Native and we have native script, Flutter. You can search more about that. We have desktop. Okay, now you can build your desktop app with Electron, and there's a whole tons of websites that is now converting to what Electron, like a web app. Okay, we have, let's say, like Figma. Now they have the desktop version. built with Electron. We have even the VS Code that we use right now is almost it is Electron. Okay, it is Electron. Everything is Electron. Okay, so when we come to WebAssembly actually uh, evolved not long ago. Okay, so this means that now no, your Java, C++ skills can be can be integrated into the web technologies. Okay, so you convert your CSS. No, sorry. So you convert your C++, your Java into JavaScript, which the browser is able to read and understand. So what I will give to you is what keep learning, and the process is long, but it is worth it. You learn a lot and you understand everything here. And after you finish learning, you see that everything here is very simple. Everything, there is nothing hard here. Thumbs up, front end boys. Thank you. See you in my next video, and I'll make sure give you quality content. See you in my next tutorial. Bye for now.